Slatter with GTA Sports, and welcome to another edition of GTA Heat Checks ISO Mode. Make sure you follow GTA Sports Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, GTA Heat Check as well. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, GTA Sports, and don't forget GTASportsnet.com for all things in the world of sports. Before we get into today's ISO Mode, because I know it's been about a week, we've been busy dropping content left and right. Make sure you check out the interview we have with Aaron Gordon, who played for the NBA Houston Rockets Summer League team this year. Make sure you check out our interview with Pound Sports with Kim Pompey and Rishi Sharma in regards to talking about the Pound Sports app. Again, we got plenty of interviews coming. And if you want to get interviewed, make sure you email us. You email me at tossar@gmail.com, or you can also email sportsnetworkgta@gmail.com, and we can go ahead and get that right now. While we're getting down to business, in case you haven't noticed, the new gear just dropped. Heat Check. Shout out to New Age Elements. Make sure you follow New Age Elements as well. Check out the gear. We got the hats, t-shirts, shorts. They come in different colors, sizes. Make sure you shout out to Magic Shots for the design as well. Follow her. Check out all her services as well while we're handling business. Again, GTA. So, because we haven't done ISO Mode about a week, I'm going to do the one I owe you guys. I mentioned in the last video in regards to the Philadelphia 76ers. Today we're going to talk about a team that has been somewhat disrespected ever since they won the 2021 NBA championship, and that is the Milwaukee Bucks. Why have they been disrespected, you might ask? Well, let's start off with the fact that nobody's talking about the Bucks. In fact, I'll go on record to say the majority of people I've talked to across the league feel like the championship was somewhat of a fluke, due to the teams they played against being injured, certain players and other teams, i.e. the Clippers, who were projected to get to the finals, were, Kawhi got injured. PG had to carry him as far as he could. He carried him all the way to a game 6 or 7 in the Western Conference Finals, where they lost to the eventual Western Conference champions, Phoenix Suns, who then in turn blew a 2.0 lead to the NBA champions, as we know it, of 2021, the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, the reason why I feel like this team is getting disrespected left and right, well, they didn't contend for a championship the following season, which just passed. They, in fact, were eliminated in the semifinals. Not necessarily that they weren't good enough, but Khris Middleton went down with an injury towards MCL in the first round against the Chicago Bulls. Now, granted, the Bucks did win that series, but it took them 6 games instead of, 5, because the Bulls were banged up as well, so they really should have beat them in about 5, to be honest. But Giannis had to carry the load, which he did. Unfortunately, they ran into the Boston Celtics, who were the eventual Eastern Conference champions, and lost in 7. So, once they put a wall up around Giannis, i.e. like the 2019 Raptors, as I mentioned, you watch the tape, check the footage. You put a wall up against Giannis. If there's no Khris Middleton or anybody to help him in scoring and help carry the load, he's done. He can only do so much. And there's no disrespect to Giannis. Giannis is the back-to-back MVP, first ballot Hall of Famer, easily, without even debating it, questioning it. But without those perimeter threats, he is one-dimensional, i.e. LeBron James. So, I believe they've been disrespected because nobody expects them to get back there again. Not as the roster currently stands. Again, we're talking about a Khris Middleton who just had surgery and according to multiple reports, had to have another corrective surgery to correct what didn't get fixed on the first surgery. So they're saying he'll be ready by, training camp, preseason, to be determined. Khris Middleton is no spring chicken. He's going into a contract year. They do have his bird rights. My honest opinion off top, I don't think I'm re-signing Khris Middleton unless he takes a hometown discount. Because I know Giannis is gonna back him up and vouch for him to stay, because that's his boy. They kind of came in together because they traded for Khris Middleton from Detroit when they drafted Giannis, within a year or a season or two. So they kind of came up together, if you will, won together. So that's his brother. But I don't see Khris Middleton having too many more productive years in his career. This is, mind you, a player that doesn't have ACLs. He's playing with no ACLs. He already tore both of those. And now you're breaking down PCLs and MCLs. I mean, there's not much left in the tank. And if you looked at his numbers, have dipped since getting the contract. Well, really, they were. He had his best year going into the championship, and he's dipped in the years after. As far as percentages go, instead of shooting 37-38% from three, he's shooting 33%, which is the lowest probably since his early years of his career. And it doesn't seem like he's going to improve much due to the lack of mobility. Again, now, as far as what they've done in the offseason thus far, they haven't re-signed Brook Lopez. He's in a contract yet. They're probably going to end up letting him walk or trading him at the trade deadline. They did re-sign Bobby Portis, which I think was a great acquisition. He was due for a bag. Congratulations to that. They didn't, of course, they lost. We're talking about the championship roster. They lost Dante DiVincenzo. They lost P.J. Tucker, who just got a deal with Philly, as I mentioned in my Philadelphia 76ers video. You're dealing with George Hill, who, in my opinion, is a player coach at this point, who's playing on a team mid-level exception. Pat Connaughton is also in his final year of his deal, and they basically chose Pat Connaughton over Dante DiVincenzo. Now, granted, I think Dante's the better shooter at this point in his career. He's still got a ceiling. He's young. He was injury prone. He was injured when they moved him to Sacramento. Now he's in Golden State, which I think was a big mistake by both Milwaukee and Sacramento. You got rid of a shooter. Okay, Dante DiVincenzo can shoot with the best of them. I'm talking Buddy Hield, Klay Thompson. He's up there. He's not a Steph Curry, obviously, but he can shoot just as efficient as a Steph Curry and Steph on most nights, barring injury, of course. So they chose Pat Connaughton over Dante due to durability, not necessarily efficiency. So I think they're going to re-sign him, maybe on a discount, may try to make a team-friendly deal because his production has dwindled in the seasons after he got his big extension. So they got him on early bird as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one. You still got Grayson Allen on his rookie extension, so you're not really paying much for him. You got him on the cheap, which is good as long as he stays healthy and stays out of trouble in regards to his flagrant fouls from last season. You still got Drew Holiday on his vet extension that you gave him and Giannis. So those are your two centerpieces right now that are like untouchable. Don't ask about them in trade deal. The only way you would trade Drew Holiday at this point is if you're getting a superstar, all-star, championship-level contender in return. I'm talking, only way I would trade Drew Holiday is if I could get a Devin Booker type player or a maybe even a D'Angelo Russell. Like, it has to be somebody who either shoots better than Drew Holiday or defends better. I don't know too many players at his position, at his size, because he's barely over 6 foot tall, locking up players. I mean, he's Pat Bev with a jump shot. If Pat Bev had a jump shot, he'd be Drew Holiday. To put it simply. Drew's an all-around player. Guards multiple positions, even being undersized. So for the most part, you keep Drew. It's unfortunate he couldn't make up for the loss of Khris Middleton in the postseason, this past postseason against the Bulls. He did his thing against the Bulls, but he wasn't able to keep up against the Boston Celtics. They were just too great of a feat for somebody of his stature to have to try to play two positions and produce two all-star players worth of production. It just wasn't realistic. I think we all knew, okay, Khris is gone. No Khris, no chip. That's what I said. The moment Khris went down, I said it. I said, Bucks are not winning this year. No Khris, no chip. And it's sad to say that because they have talent and they have the willpower to keep fighting. But the teams that were going up against just had way more threats, way more weapons, both inside and outside perimeter shots. It was just too much of a feat. And Giannis can only do so much. He can only carry the load so great. Even with the level of talent he does, elevate this team too. They did, as I mentioned earlier, they did sign Pat. This was actually yesterday, as of July 18th. Pat signed a 3-year, $28 million veteran contract extension with Milwaukee, which includes a 25-26 player option. he deserves it. I mean, they basically said, look, you've been loyal to us. You've done everything that we've asked of you. We're going to pay you. We're going to take care of you. You deserve it. So no complaints here. Again, he deserves it. But when I look at this team, it's a lot of young players, a lot of two-way contracts being signed, Exhibit 10s. Luka Vendoza signed a 1-year Exhibit 10 deal. Rajon Tucker as well, he's on an Exhibit 10 deal. Lindell Whittington signed a contract Exhibit 10 deal. Of course, the guy they drafted, Marjan Beauchamp, he signed a 4-year, $12 million rookie scale contract deal. Congrats to everybody that got signed. Welcome to the league. Hopefully you guys can produce. You're going into a team that has championship aspirations while Giannis is in his prime. Hopefully Khris comes back as they project going into training camp, preseason, and works his way back into the two-time All-Star that he is. Whether I agree with that or not, for the longest I've called him a so-called All-Star, because I felt like the years that he won an All-Star or not, really it would have been Kevin Durant, but Kevin Durant was injured. Especially his first year for sure, because Kevin Durant missed the whole season his first year with Brooklyn. So, by the way, they did re-sign, I forgot to mention, they re-signed Thanasis Antetokounmpo as well as Wesley Matthews to minimal veteran contracts, as well as Javon Carter, who was a free agent. They re-signed him as well. So they're bringing back the whole team. They did sign Joe Ingles too. Now, they got him on a team mid-level because nobody knows when he's going to be ready to come back. He's an older player who also tore his ACL in Utah, got waived and sent to Portland. Portland let him walk as a free agent, and he got a deal done with Milwaukee. He's going to be definitely coming off the bench once he's ready and gets his legs back into basketball shape. He'll definitely be a three-point threat, perimeter, space on the floor. I mean, he's a veteran, so he's definitely going to give them the veteran leadership off the bench for the young guys that I just mentioned, the Lindell Whittingtons, the Rajon Tuckers, Luka Vildoza, Marjan Beauchamp. He's definitely going to be the veteran leader for the rookies off the bench for sure. I don't know what you're going to get from him coming back from ACL because of his age. So I don't know what his production is going to be. But if it's anything, if you give me half of what you gave Utah, it could be a contender situation. It could put them back in contention. They are a solid team. But don't be surprised if Milwaukee makes some moves come trade deadline, because when I look at all these names, the one thing that's missing from this list, where's your PJ Tucker? And it don't have to be PJ Tucker. Obviously, he got his 3-year, $33 million all guaranteed from Philly. So, salute to that man for getting paid. Okay, that man got a bag. So, shout out to James Harden for taking a pay cut to get that bag. I talked about it in my video. You can check that out if you didn't catch it. I don't see a dog on this roster. The only dog you really have is Jrue Holiday. I'm not saying Giannis ain't a dog. Giannis is Giannis. Giannis is the MVP of the team. He's the bona fide captain, leader, all the above. Captain of the ship. But you need somebody off the bench to be that dog, and I don't see that dog on this roster. Because, again, you don't know when Joe Ingles is going to be back. And when he gets back, it's going to take him a whole season to get back to his, at least somewhat of himself. I don't see that dog off the bench. That's the only problem I have with this. I see a lot of veterans. You got your Wesley Matthews. You got your Brook Lopez still until he gets traded or waived or however they work that out with him, being that he is going into a contract year. I don't see a dog on here outside of Bobby Portis. And he's going to be starting the way the roster looks right now, especially with Khris out, presumably. Because I don't think he's going to, if he does come back, they're going to probably not start him. He's probably going to come off the bench first, just to get his minutes restricted. He's not going to play full starter minutes at first. So I see Bobby getting a lot of starting minutes. He's going to start for sure. Even though they got him listed as a power forward, Bobby Portis is a center. Okay. He can play the 5 and he can shoot the 3. He's one of the greatest centers with the most efficient 3 I've ever seen in my lifetime. No shots to Karl Anthony Towns, but damn, Bobby Portis is nice. Okay, I mean, that was one of the greatest pickups they got when he left the team that he came from and got to Milwaukee. That was a great pickup by the Bucks. Great pickup. Overall, I just think the Bucks, they have an identity. To my knowledge, they're re-signing Serge Ibaka, putting him on another veteran minimum contract, kind of a show and prove deal because he didn't get to do much. And he didn't produce much last season when they got him. So this is another year, a chance for him to show that he still has something left in the tank. I don't know with his back situation. He's 33, how efficient and how productive he'll be. My guess is he'll replace Brook Lopez. If they do move on from Brook, Serge will be Brook's replacement. He'll be backing up Bobby Portis at the 5. Bobby Portis will be the starting center once that happens. They're going to rotate. You're going to move Brook off the starting lineup and either bench him or waive him or trade him. If he's got any trade value in the market, come trade deadline. You move up Bobby Portis because you're paying him the most and put him at the 5 instead of at the 4. Especially once Khris gets back. Definitely moving him to the 5 at that point. He'll probably start at the 4 to help out Khris. But once Khris gets back, they'll probably put him back at the 5. And then you move, at that point, you would put Serge backing up Bobby Portis at the 5. That's what I would do. Being that I use the Bucks a lot, in my experiences with 2K, when they were productive, efficient, and healthy, seeing that you don't have PJ Tucker anymore, you kind of gotta move pieces around to not only feel the production that you're losing PJ to Miami, then to Philly ultimately. You also need somebody to be that aggressive lockdown defender at that position because PJ also plays power forward. So there's some holes that need to be filled. Maybe some of these young guys can step up into. So basically, they're going to be asking Thanasis to produce more minutes at the 3, Rajon Tucker as well, because there's a deficiency at the 3 without Khris Middleton, especially until Joe Ingles gets back. Whichever one comes back healthy first, whether it be Joe Ingles or Khris Middleton. Prayers out to those guys. Hope they get, speedy recovery and come back ready to go. Overall, Bucks will be in the mix. I got them top 3 in the East. I don't got them probably being number 1 in the East next season. There's too many teams that are better than them that have made moves this offseason to put them above them. But I do see them contending. I do see them putting up a dogfight to reclaim their throne. Will they get it this season? With this roster, probably not. They're going to have to go get another superstar. They're going to have to swing for the fences. You couldn't get Dame. Dame's locked into another contract extension with Portland. He's pretty much going to play his career out in Portland unless, something changes in the next 2 seasons. They need another dog on their team. If I was Milwaukee, suggestion, go get Pat Bev out of Utah. I know nobody's talking about it. Nobody really expects nothing of it. But Utah's going to move Pat Bev if they lose Donovan Mitchell. So I'm not saying it's, depending on that move, but don't be surprised if Pat Bev or a Pat Bev type player ends up in Milwaukee. That is my projection. Milwaukee. Giannis, go talk to the office. Tell them, look, I need a dog. I need another shooter. Go get Cam Johnson out of Phoenix if you can. Or Michael Bridges. Really, you could even get Miles Bridges, honestly. If it's possible, you could get Miles Bridges if you got the money for him. Or if you're willing to take a discount due to all the allegations going on with that. But you got Miles Bridges out there. You got quite a few players out there. Let's real quick, before we wrap this up, let's check the list of current free agents that are still on the market. Just to see who you guys can go pick up and make it happen. Carmelo Anthony. Talk to him. See what you can do with that as well. He's definitely a possibility. Carmelo, so just to give you guys real quick before we wrap this up, just to give you guys the list, we will, starting with LaMarcus Aldridge, you can't go wrong with that. He's unrestricted. You can go get him if he doesn't want to retire. Carmelo Anthony, you need a shooter and you need a veteran. Melo works in Milwaukee. Still got Montrezl Harrell. He's out there unrestricted still. Dennis Schroeder at the Rockets. He's unrestricted as well. Collin Sexton. Again, these are the 6 big remaining free agents. Okay? And you can use all of them. Milwaukee, get on the phone. Make it happen. See what they want. Now, Collin's restricted. You might not be able to get him because Cleveland's going to want a whole lot back for him. You might not be able to go get him unless you send Khris Middleton's contract to them. Don't know if they'll do it. But he is restricted. So that's the only problem with that. He's restricted. So don't know if you're going to be able to do much with that. But he did tear his meniscus. So you are getting an injured player for injured player if you do some type of swap with some picks. Khris Middleton for Collin Sexton. It could happen. You could definitely work that out. All right? So again, for those who just tuned in, the last 6 top remaining free agents of this season: LaMarcus Aldridge of the Brooklyn Nets, Carmelo Anthony of the Los Angeles Lakers, Montrezl Harrell of the Charlotte Hornets. They say James Harden, but that's old news. James Harden he's Philly. He's committed to Philly, so ignore that. Dennis Schroeder, Houston Rockets, and Collin Sexton, who is restricted to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Milwaukee, you need to get another dog, either a lockdown defender or a shooter. And all these players fit your roster some way, somehow. LaMarcus at the power forward, you're lacking in that department. You could definitely use his services, and he's a veteran. Carmelo Anthony, same thing. Small forward, power forward, however you want to play him, 3 or 4. He can do it. Don't ask too much on defense. Has a lot of offense. Veteran leadership. Montrezl Harrell, undersized at his position, but he's a dog. He'll fight. He's a PJ Tucker type player, as I mentioned earlier. And Dennis Schroeder, he got to show and prove. The league has kind of all but forgot what he can do because he wasn't used properly in his last few stops. Milwaukee, redemption. Go get him. If you can't do that, swing for the fences and go get Collin Sexton. Swing for it. Swing for the fences. You need something. You don't have enough to get back to the finals with the current roster. Go get Collin Sexton if you can. Now, this has been another episode of GTA Heat Checks ISO Mode. Follow me at Slatter on all the streaming platforms. GTA Sports Network, GTA Heat Check. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, GTA Sports. Don't forget New Age Elements. Go get your merch. And until next time, take care.